Hello everyone, and welcome to this new alignment for the full supermoon in Aries. This lunation is happening on the 7th of October at 4:47 Casablanca time, which is where I am at the moment. And that is 3 a.m. and 47 minutes in Universal Time. This lunation is supermoon, as I said, which means that the moon is closer to Earth, therefore has more effects, but also appears bigger. It is happening at 14 degrees of Aries, which means that while the sun is in Libra at 14 degrees 08 exactly, the moon is exactly at the opposite side of the zodiac at 14 degrees and 8 minutes of Aries. Let's see what this moon has for us. So, this is the first lunation after the eclipse season that started at the beginning of Virgo and ended at the end of Virgo. And perhaps you can feel how that eclipse season has had an impact on you. Maybe you can feel a form of liberation or of an opening. And I invite you to take a moment now or whenever is the right time for you to take a moment and think of what has changed for you within that period of time, during that time brought by the eclipse. What has changed within, but also what has changed in your reality. Notice any small change, small detail, small shift, or bigger shift in how you experience life. Before we start, I would like to remind us all of something that is very important to have in mind when we speak about astrology, when we speak about stars, and any, let's say, information that comes from ancient disciplines or ancient wisdom. It is important to remember that astrology is a tool to help us in our evolution, to help us understand ourselves, to help us understand our reality. Never it is, or it has been, or it should be a way to disempower us, make us feel that we are determined by external factors, that we can discharge ourselves from our responsibilities about our lives. This is very, very important to remember that you, I, all of us, always have the power and the responsibility of everything that happens to us. What the stars bring to us is more information, more elements for us to navigate our reality, our lives, and whatever we do with ourselves. In practice, that means saying things that like, oh, it's because Mercury is retrograde, or oh, it's like this because I'm a Libra. That can be a little bit dangerous, stopping at that. It's the Mercury being retrograde or being of Libra, Aries, of whatever sign or whatever information that comes from the stars is for us to understand a bit better with more refinement, with more clarity, and to give us tool to navigate and use that information for us to make, to move forward, to evolve, to whatever we feel like doing with it. So remember, it's a tool of empowerment. It's very important. I might bring forth that reminder again every now and then, but I felt it was important to remind us of that right now, also because there's a lot going on, and there will be a lot going on, as you have seen over the past year or so, that there are many, many important events in the sky happening. So, that being said, let's see what this moon is about. So if there was one idea or one overarching concept that corresponds to this moon, it's a moon of fire. There is so much fire in the sky at the moment. It's incredible. It's really wonderful. First of all, as I said, the moon is in Aries, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's a sign of fire, the body aspect of the Trinity of fire, and it's the sign of the I am. That's the mantra of Aries. And we will see how this moon, beyond the fact of being in Aries, it's fully infused with a lot of fire, with cosmic fire coming from many, many directions. Let's see first the archetype of Aries. Aries speaks to us about recognizing ourselves, recognizing our own unicity, and to embody the divine, to allow it to express itself in this reality. Remember, it's the first sign of the zodiac. It's where the divine spark incarnates, and it's very, very close to those primordial waters that are the origin of existence, the source of all creation, and that acts as the container of the divine. So from there, it creates the plan, thoughts, sculptures, groups, philosophies to bring heaven on earth and to accomplish in its mission, and that incarnates first in Aries. So the archetype of Aries is very, very direct in this process of incarnating the divinity and all the divine project as it will develop through the 12 signs of the zodiac. And Aries has that very direct impulse to bring that into expression. And so yeah, the impulse is a really important word, as much as the spark. Those are two very important words for Aries. So yeah, keep that in mind, of that first aspect of fire that will be present in the sky for this moon. The first big theme of this moon is about the cosmic fire that is here to help us embody higher frequency of light. The sun and moon themselves are not forming many strong aspects, like really, nothing really major. We've seen moons where the aspects with many other planets are very strong, etc. But this time, the sun and moon themselves are not forming any strong aspects, but other planets are, other celestial bodies are. They have significant information to bring to us. And the first one is Mars, the ruler of Aries, that is exactly conjunct Volcano, which is an asteroid called a trans-Neptunian asteroid, which is in the region of Neptune, quite far out compared to the sun. And the symbolism of a volcano is the cosmic fire that is necessary to clear all the restrictions so that we can keep rising towards higher frequencies. Another little reminder here about high frequencies and low frequencies. There's no better or not as good as in frequencies. Higher or lower frequencies embody or signal a certain type of information. The higher frequencies mean that we vibrate at a much higher rate and bring us close to a certain type of information, more subtle realms and things like that. Lower frequencies bring us closer to the density of our world and even lower. So both are necessary, both are work together, and it's important not to get caught up into ascending until we lose our connection to the ground or anything like that. Just a small reminder of that. So, and if you remember, and if you've were connected to the meditations and the readings that I did during the eclipse season, you probably remember that we have received a lot of very high frequencies during that period of time. And that has affected us deeply in our own vibration, in our own frequency. And here we receive the fire to consciously act on those new vibrations and help us embody them in a much more permanent way. So what does that mean? It means operating from the frequency of the I am, from the level of sovereignty, from the limitlessness that brings forth. The I am, as I said earlier, we're very close to the primordial waters that where the divine spark has sprung forth, let's say, to incarnate and express and go through the path of the 12 signs, of the 12 archetypes. So this is about recognizing that limitlessness within us, our sovereignty, our I am. And it means also to get closer or to reach the point where we can embody our own truth, each of us, incarnating the divine part that we are meant to embody, each of us. So so that's the key message of Volcano, that help us clear anything that prevents us from getting to that point of truth, that point of divinity that dwells within. Mars is in Scorpio and is squaring Pluto in Aquarius also. So Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. So in a certain way, it is at home there. In the same way that Pluto is the, let's say, current ruler, or the major ruler of Scorpio, and both are associated with fire, both Mars and Pluto, and they are connecting together, one from Aquarius, the other from Scorpio. Mars, as I said, is the ruler of Aries, and it symbolizes the willpower, the impulse, the action. Pluto is about transmutation, transformation, finding the deeper truth within, being able to face death of some parts of us that need to go away, so that we can be, we can find the gems within us to transform, to evolve. And find all the potentials, those gems that we hold within, and that we need to go deep to find and bring to the light and use. So that means we have three very strong fires connecting there. Pluto being in Aquarius, and it's been there for a while now, and it's going to be there for approximately 40 years. So Aquarius, as we have seen many, many times, is where we're heading to, the archetype that we're heading to as a humanity, the era of Aquarius. So Pluto is definitely there, pulling us and helping us transform in order to engage and become what we need to become to sustain and embody that age of Aquarius. So it's a very strong connection that we have here when we see Mars, Volcano, and Pluto. What they do, what these three fires do connecting in this way, they are inviting us, obviously, to awaken the attributes within. They speak about the primitive force of creation. They tell us about awakening our potentials, and the union of all these create the energy that generates light, that can ignite our powers, our potentials into powers. So igniting my fires, what these three fires are inviting us to do, actually the three levels of ourselves. The one that is more, let's say, subtle, which would be volcano. The one that is more, let's say, or let's say from the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious, or from the spiritual, emotional, and physical plane, which would be volcano, Pluto, and Mars. So three aspects of our being are being ignited together at the same time with very strong connections. I hope you get the power of these three fires working together at the same times in the three aspects, on the three aspects of ourselves. And what that means is activating my own fires. It's like they are beaming their energy into us for us to activate our own fires and to awaken the potential so that they can become real tools, real things, real abilities, real faculties for us to navigate our lives. Remember also, fire is what allows us to integrate and transmute. So it not only speaks about awakening our potentials, but it's also speaking about transforming the things that prevent us from accessing those potentials, or transmuting the things that we no longer need. And we don't just drop off these things, we use them as fuel to move on and to evolve. And remember also that the fire is what connects us to our higher self, to the I am. It gives us clarity, energy, and integration. This is a very, very powerful piece of information that we have here in the sky. And you'll see that there is more. There is more fire, and there is more transmutation and evolution for us with this full moon, super full moon in Aries. The other important aspect that we have here is a finger of fate. I'm looking this way because that's where my the chart for this moon is. And that finger of fate have as its base Uranus in Gemini, Neptune at the very first degree of Aries, and at its pointy part, we have Mercury at the very first degree of Scorpio. And these three planets are at between 0 and 1 degrees of their signs, which is very, very, very interesting, and which also means that their relationship in that triangle is very precise, which gives it even more potency. Uranus, remember, is the symbol of radical change. Neptune in Aries speak to us about the new dream. We've seen that several times over the past few months. And Mercury is the power of mind, is the alchemy that invites us to do several things. These three planets together invite us to do several things. First of all, transmute all that needs to be cleared. So again, transmutation is available to us in a very big way. Remember that Mercury is Hermes, is the alchemist. So Mercury is inviting us here to use the power of mind to transcend, transmute the wounds within. Mercury is also opposing Chiron in Aries, in the I am. And Scorpio is the one that is the absolute healer and the absolute archetype for transmutation. It's also, this aspect is also inviting us to liberate ourselves from appearances and to connect us to our deeper truth. Uranus is the planet of truth by excellence. It's an incredible truth bringer, really. And our new dream, what this aspect tells us between those three planets, tells us that our new dream cannot carry over with things from the past. These need to be healed, Scorpio. Mercury in Scorpio, and transmuted for the new dream to develop fully. In other words, we can't just skip or turn a blind eye to the conflicts that we have and just pretend that by raising our frequency, or it's not even pretend, it can be a proper belief, by believing that by, just looking forward, they'll just stay behind. No, there is a real work of um, uh, understanding, recognizing, transmuting, as in finding a new level of understanding. Why is that important? Because this is how we demonstrate that we have moved to a different frequency. When we are able to give a new meaning to an old conflict, it means we have, I think Einstein was saying that you cannot resolve a problem from the level that has created it. We cannot resolve a problem from the level that has created it, which means in order to embodying those new frequencies is demonstrated by our ability to resolve old conflicts. This is very, very important. And someone asked me one day about shadow work. There's another way to see it, especially in this context. You can also call it light work, because you're bringing a new light into a conflict. Do you understand? So we illuminating it from a different perspective, because our frequency is different, our vibration is different. Therefore, we are able to see other aspects of whatever conflict that we need to overcome. Now, to help us even more in that is a fixed star that is directly opposing Mercury, a fixed star that is in Taurus, called Mirage or Mirac. And it helps us incredibly in the resolution, in that finger of fate and the resolution of everything that I just spoke about. Mirac is celestial fire, the fire of faith that leads towards working or towards our spiritual evolution. So what it helps us do is to transmute in suffering or in destruction, in order to be born into more love, into more light, into higher frequencies, as in higher or wider perceptions, if you want. So whatever courage, will we need to face the conflict and resolve those conflicts, we have very strong support through Mirac to go through that suffering, go through those deaths of parts of ourselves, and transcend, go through and go to the other side. This fixed star, and you know how fixed stars are very powerful, very dispense very fine, very laser-like energy. So here, the fact that it's exactly opposite Mercury makes it a very potent energy that gives us its information to work with. And Mira connects us also to our inner voice, the one that speaks to our consciousness or from our consciousness when we quiet down the mind chatter, when we quiet down the lower mind. So it's our connection also to the higher mind. And in that triangle, we have two archetypes of the mind, the lower mind and the higher mind. The lower mind, Mercury, and the higher mind, Uranus. And Mirac helps us balance that, helps us reach the higher mind and access that level of clarity and intelligence in a way. What's more for this super full moon? Yes, another fixed star that is this time conjunct the moon. This star is called Alpherat. It's a fixed star from the constellation of Andromeda. And I love the symbolism of that star, especially in the context of this moon. It represents the celestial passageway, the new sun. So this star connects us to the source of our being. And because it's conjunct the moon, obviously, because it's a full moon, it's exactly opposing the sun. So you see the resonance that is happening here. While the moon is being illuminated by the sun in Libra, the sign of balance and equilibrium, the moon is sitting very next to Alpherat, the new sun. The light that sits on the other side, beyond the celestial passageway, Alpherat. So what it does, it marks the beginning of a new cycle, and is the celestial bridge that proposes a new path for our soul to walk towards our highest emanation. Highest emanation is another way to say higher frequency. Isn't that very beautiful? What is being brought to us with this full moon. So that's the essence of it. So remember, I am the sovereignty, Aries, fire. The huge amount of fire that is here for this moon to help us transmute, to help us ignite, to help us clear, to help us connect with our highest potentials and our highest part of ourselves, our highest vibration, our higher self, however you want to call it. All of that for us to embody that divine spark in a much more open and free way, in a much more expanded way as well. And the way we do that, the way we demonstrate that in our physical life, is in the way we liberate ourselves from the past, not by running away from it, but by resolving it from that higher frequency that we are embodying. And we do have an open path for us to cross to this new level of consciousness, which is, again, another way to say higher frequency. So I want to say welcome to this new cycle, really, because this is really what it is. It's really what it is. Speaking about fire, as I'm filming this, there's a coronal mass ejection, a double coronal mass ejection that's been brewing, let's say, in the sun. The sun is like turning towards us with a big ejection in preparation, and it might have been released already, and I think it's going to reach us for this full moon around the 7th, more or less, one day more, one day less, we'll see. So cosmic fire is present in the energies, in the planets, in the celestial bodies, but mostly there is actual physical fire, photonic, let's say, beam that is coming to us to support all of that, or to activate that even more, I want to say. What else? What else did I want to say? Yes, I want to say something else to you. There's another piece of information that can be useful to work with this moon, is to notice the position of the sun, which is in Libra. And Libra is the one that balances, that finds balance, that accepts the challenge that come with walking the path of life, of incarnated life, and that with each challenge finds a resolution from a standpoint of balance and equilibrium, not negating the left or the right, the positive or the negative, the front or the back, or whatever polarity you want to think about, but by honoring both and finding the perfect balance that allows each to coexist and to produce something even more beautiful. And Libra is the path of evolution. And the fact that we're having all this information coming to us while the sun is in Libra, I think it's even more meaningful and help us understand that there is definitely a balancing act or a balancing exercise that we need to find. With all that fire that we are receiving, it's also helping us to find that middle path between opposites, which is when we don't find it, puts us in conflict. But when we have that discernment and that fire within us, just to summarize it, I summarize it through fire, but you know what I'm talking about. It's all the information that we have with this moon. So when we have that fire, it allows us to find a higher truth and to walk that path in a more balanced way. And therefore, to help us evolve. And when each of us evolve, humanity evolves. So that's it for this moon. Let's see, before we move to the meditation, let's see what the Oracle of Agartha has for us today. Remember, this is the Oracle that I'm using. It's in French. It's by a wonderful human called Lulumineuse. If you speak French or understand a little bit of French, I invite you to check her work. She's on Instagram and all the networks. She is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Lulu. Okay, let's ask this oracle, which connects with the people of Inner Earth, if there is any further information that would be useful for us to work with this moon. Okay, that was very quick. Oh, lovely. We got this card called The Passageways. I think this is one of the information we had over the last month, maybe even for the solar eclipse. All right, it's from the ancient Aztecs. It's called Les Passages, the passageways. And let me read to you the full information. All right, it goes like this. Death is a passage from one state to another, like there are thousands of it in the divine matrix of nature. If you are reading this message today, it's because the question that you are asking yourself is connecting to a passage, a rebirth, a change, or a death. Certain steps are destined to end, to give way to new ways of exploration. We, brothers of the stars and of the earth, have come to support you in the passages that you are experimenting right now, and to remind you that for us, every passage represents a great source of celebration. These transitions all have an evolutionary goal. To celebrate them helps us, how do you say? To celebrate them helps us do our mourning, as in to mourn someone's death, and to reunite or recollect our energies in welcoming the next step that presents itself at our doors. The ascension key is celebrate all forms of change. They bring forth evolution and allow you to access new learnings. That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Here's the illustration, a flower, a full petal flower being born from a, I don't know, black hole, passageway. All right, ready for the alignment? Let me share some music with you. And in the meantime, find a comfortable position where you can be seated, preferably. I need to share the music now. Okay. Find a comfortable position. Preferably seated. With your spine vertical. You can be sitting on a chair or sitting in a cross-legged posture, like in meditation posture. And I invite you to close your eyes. And if it's accessible to you, to sit in a tetrahedral position, that's the meditation posture. If not, on a chair is fine. You're sitting in the shape of a tetrahedron on the floor. Your legs are crossed. Your arms are extended, resting on your knees. Your spine is straight. And let's take a moment to become aware of our body. Feel the points of contact with the floor, if you're on the floor, with the chair, if you're on a chair. Check your posture, it's balanced. And let's take a moment to center ourselves using our breath. We take 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Hold. Exhale through the mouth. One more time. Inhale deeply through the nose. Hold your breath. And with the exhale, let go of any tensions, physical, emotional. Let go of any thoughts. And one last time, inhale deeply through the nose, fill up your lungs. And hold for a few seconds. Resting into that brief moment of stillness. And exhale through the mouth. And come back to normal breathing through the nose. Become aware of your breath, natural, soft. Keep it very subtle. Placing all the effort in perceiving your breath, all its aspects, characteristics. Bringing your entire attention to the area below your nostrils, at the entrance of your nostrils. And allow your breath to help you sharpen your awareness. Perceive every breath in. Notice the temperature of your breath, its amplitude. The amount of air that goes in and goes out. Notice the temperature of the air. And extend your awareness to your entire body. Noticing everything about your physical body right now, without judgment, just observing. And now become aware of the following points or areas in your body. Your right shoulder, your left shoulder, the center of your chest, just in front of your heart chakra. Hovering, a point hovering above your chest. And now, your right knee, your left knee, and your tailbone, the seat of your Kundalini. Now I would like you to place a flame in each of these points. We will do it together, connecting each flame to a concept. And in that way, building together our own Merkaba. And we start by building the tetrahedron of the Am, the one facing down. On my right shoulder, I place the flame of will. On my left shoulder, I place the flame of wisdom. And in front of my chest, in the center, place the flame of love and now together we build the tetrahedron of the eye, the one facing up. My right knee, I place the flame of energy. On my left knee, I place the flame of vibration. And in my tailbone, the flame of matter. Take a moment to visualize, feel, imagine those flames and the concepts they hold. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Visualize both tetrahedrons, the one going down and the one going up. Forming a perfect geometry that sustains me here and now, between heaven and earth. And very gently, I start to rotate those tetrahedrons. The lower one pointing up, rotating to the left, and the upper one pointing down, rotating to the right. And as your Merkaba starts to rotate, imagine, see, or feel mirrors of yourself deploying and expanding from you, emanating from your center towards your left and your right, and forming concentric circles around you. Visualize them, see or imagine them, surrounding you in circles in perfect order. Circle after circle after circle after circle. These are your potentials. And now, imagine, feel, see yourself walking around those aspects of yourself, those mirrors, those potentials. And think of one conflict that you are experiencing right now. And walk around until you find one of those mirrors of yourself that corresponds to that conflict, that has the same resonance. In there, you can find the potential hidden beyond that conflict. And ask yourself, your mirror self, what is the gift that lies within that conflict that I'm experiencing? And listen. If you wish, you can continue walking around all the mirrors of yourself. Thinking and recognizing all the conflicts that you are experiencing today. And finding the gift behind each of them. Or you can simply come back to the center. Recognize that each of these mirrors holds a gift, potential, a key to your evolution. Whether conflict that you are facing has come from generations past, from the beginning of humanity even, or whether it is completely connected to your current path. All of those potentials live within you. Waiting to be uncovered and brought to light. For your own evolution. Receiving the gifts, potentials from ancestors and passing them down to those that will inherit those potentials from you. Now we come back to the center. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And imagine, feel, visualize a golden light surrounding you 360 degrees, filling up your field. And sealing all the new potentials you have awakened. And recognize that I am the cosmic fire that transmutes the wounds and awakens the powers within. I am the bridge towards a new cycle. I am. I am. And I calibrate with my voice. Gently, I come back here and now and start moving my fingers, my head, my spine. I can stretch, yawn, and when I'm ready, I can open my eyes. Thank you very much for being here once again. I wish you a beautiful, super full moon and a joyous, celebratory cosmic fire. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.